Hello and welcome to the Bold Believers Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Dawn, and in today's episode, we are talking about the difference between taking aligned action and going into hustle mode. Because yes, work is required. We have to show up for the vision that God's given us, but what we don't want to do is fall into this trap of thinking that the more productive we are, the more work we do, the harder we work, the more successful we will be, because that is simply untrue. If the hardest working people were the most successful people on the planet, McDonald's employees would be the billionaires. And we know that's not true, right? So yes, work is required. We need to show up and put in the effort. But what we don't want to do is get ourselves into this place where we are working 24/7 and forcing, pushing, hustling, grinding, and doing things that are only going to lead to burnout. When I first got into the online space, this is back when I was still working my cleaning business, so I was part-time at this point, hustle culture was huge and it was glorified. This was the boss babe era. Maybe if you've been around in the online space for a while, you're familiar with that. And the idea was that this is your business. You have to hustle hard to make it happen. And I remember one author, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but that doesn't matter anyway. But he said something along the lines of, you don't sleep until you've made your first million. And what he meant by that was, you don't hang out with your friends, you don't have fun, you don't go out for dinners, you hustle, you grind, you put in like the bare minimum hours of sleep required to function properly. But basically, you don't rest until you've made your first million. And then you can take your foot off the gas pedal. And I remember hearing that going, no, that is not what I'm signing up for here at all. But I did drink a little bit of the hustle culture Kool-Aid. And for a while, I thought that if I packed my days full of productive things, that my business would take off, that things would work fast. And yes, work is required. I will die on that hill for sure. I will never sit here and tell you that all you have to do is pray, think happy thoughts, and wait for God to, do his thing. Like, we have to show up for the vision. But that work that we're doing, it needs to be aligned with the vision. I'm going to share with you a few different things that will help you see the difference between the aligned action and hustle. So firstly, aligned action is going to match the vision that God has given you, which means when you're looking at the different things to be doing in your business to bring your vision to life, it's going to make sense. You're not going to be doing something just because it's going to fill hours on your calendar. You're going to be doing things that match the vision that God gave you. And this really gets us out of the busy work, which is a trap that a lot of people fall into. And I was in this space for quite a while in the earlier days of my business. I was working on developing a website because back then I truly believed that if I had the right colors, the right font, the right brand photos, that was going to be the key to my success. And I spent hours and hours and hours working on my own website. I was doing it all myself. What did I try? Weebly, WordPress. I now have Squarespace, which it's just a very simple sales page for my one-to-one coaching. That's the only thing I even have on my website right now. And there's nothing wrong with having a website. Let me make that very clear. But hustling and spending hours a day working on something like that was not making me sales. And so often we actually fall into the trap of doing busy work because it feels safer than doing the work that will actually create the results. In this example, it would have been having sales conversations. It would have been engaging with people on social media. It would have been telling people about my work. It would have been selling with more conviction and more consistently instead of picking out colors for a website or messing around in Canva, creating the perfect Instagram graphics. I did that for a long time too. I thought I was a design expert and I would go into Canva and it would take me like 2 hours to create a post for Instagram, not just writing the caption, but like designing it, because I thought that I had to have this ultra professional, beautifully branded image online. And again, there's nothing wrong with beautiful, professional looking images at all, but we want to look at the work that we're doing. At the end of the day, is this going to move you deeper into the vision that God's given you? Or is this something that's either keeping you busy or taking you off track? Because that's a thing too. A lot of people will sign up for courses on all of these, like these really complicated business strategies that, and again, nothing's really good or bad here that I'm sharing with you, but they can be distractions that take you away from the work that you need to be doing with where you are right now. Like Facebook ads are a perfect example. I've had clients come to me and they're really keen on getting Facebook ads done. I'm like, okay, great. Like that's not my zone of expertise. So I definitely don't coach or mentor people in that specific area. But I would ask them like, great, like what's your offer? Who's it for? And they don't know who their client is. They're not clear on their offer. They don't even know what their messaging is. And so if they're in a space where they think the Facebook ads are going to be the thing that makes their business take off, they don't even know who they're talking to or who they're selling to, right? So it didn't make sense for them at that point in time to run ads until they got clear on those other pieces. Like if you've never worked with a client before, don't be wasting your money on Facebook ads. It doesn't make any sense. You need to have conversations. You need to be working with clients and understand more deeply about your own business. The next thing I have down here on my list is that aligned action is going to feel calm and focused. It's not going to feel frantic. And it's going to feel calm even if it stretches you. There's often this misconception that if we're on the right path and we're doing the right things, everything is going to feel easy breezy. You're not going to have any challenges. Everything is going to go your way. And if it doesn't, then that means that you're somehow out of alignment. And that is simply untrue. You are going to be stretched out of your comfort zone. You are going to be faced with fear. Resistance is going to come up. You're going to have some sleepless nights probably. You're going to shed some tears as part of your entrepreneurial journey. That is normal. Embrace that. Don't run from it. But when you're called to take aligned action, it's going to feel focused. You're not going to feel scattered and confused and all over the place. And it's going to feel calm. Even if the action itself brings up some fear, brings up some resistance. Like an example that's coming off the top of my head right now is doing a live stream, right? Like you get that call, you know, with every bone in your body that yes, I am meant to do a live stream. This is the way that God is calling me to connect with my audience, to share my message, to get in front of people and to talk about my work and to help the other humans. Now, if you've never done a live stream before, that might not feel so calm. The act of doing the live stream, the idea of doing the live stream might not feel calm at all, but the message, the call to do that feels calm. Like you know that's the thing that you're meant to do. This is also about being obedient to the next steps you're called to instead of being focused on the outcome. When we're in hustle mode, we are very focused on the outcome. And what this looks like is, I'm going to put this post up with this call to action, and I really hope I get a client today from this post. Or I'm going to do this live stream, or I'm going to do this free live training. Maybe you're doing a free workshop or a masterclass. And yes, on one hand, you want to serve your community. You want to offer value. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, this better work. I have 50 people signed up for this class. I need at least 10 people inside my program. This better work. Like that is hustle mode at its best. It's really focused on the outcome, and it's really focused on this, I'm going to give in order to get something. And that is not the place we want to be coming from. We want to be giving for the sake of giving. It's better to give than to receive. And when we're in that space, when we're in that energy of like, yes, I just want to pour out, I just want to serve, I just want to give, the natural byproduct of that is people being more attracted to your work because you don't need them. If you're showing up online needing people to work with you, needing to sign clients, that is a really big reason why you're not signing clients. You don't have to have them. Like your work gets to be your work just for the sake of it being your work. Your message that you have to share, like if you wouldn't do what you're doing for free, if you would not do the work that you're doing for free, then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Because when you're in this space where you're showing up because you love the work, where you want to get whatever it is that you do in front of more people because you know it helps people, that right there is like the sweet spot when it comes to content creation and online sales. And yes, you also want to be selling regularly and selling with conviction. But when you're selling, it's not from this place of, I need you to buy this so I'm going to be okay. It's coming from a place of, I feel this is the best fit solution for the person I designed it for. If you're into the free content, if you're liking what I'm saying, get in my DMs because we can take this to a whole other level. We can take that vision and turn it into your reality. Let's go. Like, that is the vibe. It's not, please sign up for my thing, because if you don't, then I'm not going to feel good enough. Or I need the money. I need you to sign up for the thing. And obviously you're not saying this out loud in your content, but that's the message that's coming through when we're in any sort of place where we think that we have to give in order to get, instead of giving for the sake of giving. The other thing when it comes to aligned action versus hustle mode is that aligned action is done from a place of grounded identity. This is who I am, this is what I do, as opposed to the insecurity. With hustle mode, insecurity can show up in needing more likes and more engagement. If I just post a few more times a day on social media, people are going to like me. If I just post a few more times, I'm going to get some more followers, right? That getting energy. It's not cute. It is not a cute space to be. But when we're grounded in our identity, and with this example, I'm talking about the identity of you as a business owner. We have our identity in Christ, but I'm talking about your identity as a business leader, as a business owner. Who is that person? Who are you? And for this, you can go to that place where imagine that it's already done. The clients are already here. The money's already in your bank account. You're showing up from a place of service, not from need. Who is that person? And you show up as that person instead of a person who is desperately seeking validation from her online community, who's desperately seeking validation from the outcomes, from the money, from the impact. Again, there's nothing wrong with the money and the impact. Of course not. Those go along with providing great value and service. But if we're attached to those things and we think that we're not good enough until we have those things, our identity's all messed up. Our identity's all messed up. We get to come and lead from this place of knowing and trusting, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is how I can help you. Here you go. You're welcome. That is the space to be in with your identity. Now, to wrap things up here, how do we get to this place where we know that we're taking aligned action and we're not in hustle mode? Because aligned action, that can still fill your entire day. Like, for some people, it feels incredible to put in a lot of hours. Like, some people are built where they just love to work, and that's energizing for them. They feel really good at the end of the day when they have packed their calendar full of different activities. But if those activities are just leaving you drained and unfulfilled, then there's a disconnect there. And other people, they're built a little bit differently, and they can put out maybe 4 hours of work in a day. That's the equivalent of someone else's 8 hours of work. So I don't want you getting wrapped up in how much time you're spending, like time on the clock. But you do want to look at, how am I filling my space? How am I filling my calendar? And then when you're thinking about these different actions that you're taking, are you getting them from God? Or are you thinking that you have to do what the woman that you're following on TikTok does? Like, if you're looking outside of yourself thinking that you have to run your business the way that somebody else does because they're successful, that might work for you, but chances are it's going to move you into hustle mode because you'll be doing things that you're not meant to be doing. God knows exactly what you need to be doing to grow your business, but you're not going to get the how, you're not going to get that aligned strategy unless you spend some time in prayer, talking with God, getting quiet, doing some journaling work, and doing that inner introspection work, instead of just going out and spinning your wheels thinking that the busier you are, the more productive you are, the more successful that you'll be. So we really need to get quiet. We need to go to God. And this is what I'm teaching in an upcoming masterclass called Big Bold Moves. I'm going to be walking you through my exact process on how to take your vision and turn it into your reality. Whatever that next level vision is that you have for your business, we're going to be tapping into that, going to God, getting clarity on that vision. And then we're going to be walking through the aligned actions, the mindset, and the identity. And of course, the faith to back all of this up, because without that, we end up just spinning our wheels and hoping that things are going to work when what we can do is just go to God and trust him, right? So we're going to put all of these things together and be walking you through this entire process in the Big Bold Moves Masterclass. So if you want in on this, send me a DM on Instagram. I'll also pop the information below in the show notes. Now, what I want to leave you with here today is some encouragement and to remind you that God gave you the vision that he did for your business, for your life, for a reason. And the reason is you're the one who's meant to live into it. You're the one who is meant to move into that vision, to live into it each and every day so you can experience what he wants you to experience. All right, I'm going to leave you with that. Have an amazing rest of your day. And as usual, I can't wait to speak with you in the next episode.